All right, recording.
All right, that sounds like a good way to start the podcast.
That does.
So
all the hello, hey, it's 5 a.m. was getting a little boring.
Yeah, that's why we got to start at 3 p.m. instead. Now we're wide awake and we've got no excuse for being lethargic and stupid.
Well, you're wide awake. I'm jet lagged and I'm still kind of stupid and tired.
Yeah.
It never ends, man.
Jet lagged. Where have you been since last week when we did our podcast?
Well, since last week.
Actually, I guess we didn't post a podcast last week, so that doesn't even work.
Yeah, that's my fault. I'm literally minutes away from posting it, except I'm pausing to work on this one.
Yeah, right. So for anyone who does happen to be listening, I guess when we say that, we actually had recorded about 4 podcasts in advance, so the fourth one didn't quite get saved properly and updated in time because you went to Japan.
I did. I went to Hawaii and then Japan. Hawaii was more of a stopover.
Yeah.
We had a wedding to attend. It did complicate the trip tremendously, which was unfortunate. I don't know what the reasoning is, but what we wanted to do was go to Hawaii, then Japan, and then directly back to Seattle.
Right.
Which would have been great. But trying to buy the plane tickets in such a way was outrageously more expensive. Like seriously, like $2,000 or $3,000 more expensive than going to Hawaii, Japan, Hawaii, Seattle.
Yeah.
So we had to actually stop over in Hawaii on the way back for a day, which was yesterday, which was kind of waste of time and
so you got 2 return tickets then?
2 return tickets. It was almost like 2 trips. It was like
right.
I had a trip to Hawaii and then I had a trip that started in Hawaii and went to Japan.
Yeah.
And we were in the north of Japan where it was snowing like crazy the day we left. And I was like every flight after hours got canceled. Literally, we were the last flight out.
Nice.
According to the people who dropped us off at the airport anyway, which was great because since we basically had 2 separate trips, I don't know how it would have worked if we'd missed our connection because it's not like one trip in the system.
Yeah.
I think we would just had to rebuy the ticket. So anyway, all that's done. I'm back. I'm here. I'm awake.
Yeah. Yeah, we've actually been getting snow here in Vancouver too.
I heard, and Seattle got some snow too, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little warm up for me going to Montreal.
A little, huh? Yeah, you're actually... When are you moving?
I don't have a specific date set yet, but we're targeting the first week of January.
Oh, wow, man. Soon.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're right in the heart of winter. You're moving to Montreal.
Yep. Yeah, we feel
no better way to adjust than just to jump right in, I guess.
Yeah, well, this is the first time we've got movers coming in and packing all our stuff and taking care of it, so I felt like it didn't really matter what time of year we go.
Have you seriously moved like all of your stuff yourself for every previous move?
Yeah.
I also did that until I moved to Seattle, and then when I got the job here, my company arranged for movers to come and move everything.
Yeah.
And it was just so simple. I just thought, that's it. Never again am I going to move my own things. So, and I've since accumulated so much more junk.
Yeah.
Mostly games.
Yeah. Speaking of which, have you got any more games?
What, like purchased?
Yeah. Stolen.
Oh yes. I lugged home a good quantity. As I think you said you've picked up some yourself.
Yeah, I've gotten. You know what's absurd is at the beginning of this year, I made this plan, New Year's resolution, whatever you want to call it, that I wasn't going to buy any games this year.
I remember very clearly, yes. And then sales happen, and then gossip happens.
So I actually got away with spending less money than I have in past years, but I've accumulated well over 100 games.
Well, what, in the space of this 1 month?
No, over the course of the year.
Okay.
No,
it's a game every 3 days.
Yeah, basically. Which I don't know how I'm ever going to find the hours to play that. It's like well over 2,000 hours.
You simply won't. I think right now it's going to be very clear where our purchasing trends diverge here, because I imagine most of your purchases, if not all, are like Steam games, maybe PSN.
Yeah, well, so if we want to backtrack it and only include stuff that's happened since our last time that we sat down and recorded stuff together.
Sure.
I bought Undertale, Helen's Mysterious Castle, Spec Ops: The Line, Knights of Pen and Paper +1, all on Steam.
Very nice.
I bought Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4.
Oh wow, really?
Yep.
Have you? I'll let you finish your list.
No, I've never played that one.
Have you played any of these games you've purchased?
Not a single one of them.
Not for 5 minutes.
No. Yeah. So the PlayStation Network, they were having like their 20th anniversary, 25th anniversary, or some anniversary sale.
Right.
So I got that one, which was, I guess, a PlayStation 2 game, but so I can play that on the PS3. And then I also got Parasite Eve, Vagrant Story, both Mega Man Legends games.
Nice.
So I got those all on the PSN for like the highest priced one was Shin Megami Tensei, and that was $4.
Oh wow, man!
Yeah, so like
nice,
the others, those were all $3 games.
Nice. So a little nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. And so I have to go on a house hunting trip. And the PlayStation 1 games can all be played on my PSP, so my plan is to start and finish Parasite Eve on the airplane.
That sounds ambitious.
It's
you must not be too used to traveling with a youngster.
Well, I'll be flying by myself for that trip. So,
very fortunate.
Yeah, so
exactly.
So
when you travel to Japan with a stopover in Hawaii, and there's a total of 2 connections, I had all these plans. I mean, there was 2 movies on the flight I wanted to watch. I had my 3DS with me.
Yeah.
Books I wanted to read. I literally did not do a single second of anything. I mean, it's just impossible with a 1.5-year-old. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Unbelievably impossible.
Yeah.
And it's like she decides to throw her tantrum the second you get on the airplane. And she was great the whole trip. She's been great since we got back even. Oh man. Because I mean, when I'm at home, I don't know, it's like I don't mind looking after her, but on the airplane it's like the one time I just want to be like, okay, I'm here, I'm just gonna zoom, focus on my game or whatever and chill. Nope, not a chance.
Yeah.
Longest 10 hours of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, that was honestly, like, I had considered whether or not I was going to try going back to Australia or whatever when we left San Francisco, and we decided there's just no way we're going to do that with a kid his age.
Go back as in like for a little trip or like to work?
No, to work and live there. So we came to Vancouver instead, right? So
the idea of bringing him on the airplane was what turned you off of moving to Australia?
Yep, basically.
Wow.
Well, it was like the clinch or straw or whatever analogy you want to use.
Having now brought an infant to Japan and back, I can mostly understand. It was certainly not a trivial task.
Yeah. So that was less than half of the games I've accumulated.
Oh, you said you bought 100.
Well, no, I mean just in the past month.
Okay.
So then, because there was all the Black Friday sales going on too, right? So I caved.
I totally missed all of that.
Yeah, so I got XCOM 2 and That Dragon Cancer, Metal Gear Solid 5, Halo the Master Chief Collection, Rare Replay, and obviously those last 2 games wouldn't have meant anything if I didn't also buy an Xbox One.
I see. Is that also on sale?
Yeah, well, sort of. So Shoppers Drug Mart had a promotion where you bought it.
Silly Canadians. We silly Canadians. Anyway, continue. Promotion.
Yeah, so it was full price, but it came with a $100 gift certificate.
Oh.
So it was effectively half price.
You impress me. What has kind of turned me off of buying any of the new systems as of late is, of course, as we constantly bring up, having a kid and having no time and so on. I never feel so guilty buying like, Famicom games and stuff, because you buy one, it costs $3.
Yeah.
I might not have found it that day. I might, like, if I didn't buy it then, I might not be able to buy it for a long time.
Yeah.
I would pay the same later, even if I don't get to play it for 3 years. It doesn't feel any different. Whereas buying a new system, I can put that off and save a lot of money. So it's a very different thing, I guess. So maybe you're figuring this out better than me.
Well, no, I totally agree with that as well. So I actually had like some incentives thrown my way as far as getting that. So it ended up costing me about $150 to buy that console. And if I waited a longer time, I'd probably end up paying more, because even like 5 years from now, it's going to cost more than $150 to get one.
Were these work incentives?
Yeah.
Cool.
Which is like a timed thing related to my being a new hire.
Right. Right.
So
any impressions? How is it? I mean, we're super late to the ball here, but I imagine you've played an Xbox One before.
Yes, and so that was part of the reason I chose it too. Is I'd actually been more interested in getting a PlayStation 4 pretty much up until now, just because I wanted to play like Last Guardian, and there's not too many console exclusives that sway me one way or the other, but I figured the cheap PSVR might be interesting, except when you add it all up, it's not cheap. So part of the reason I chose it was also because of my last job. I have a free, like, super expensive controller, and I already had Gears of War 1, 2, 3, Judgment, and 4 all for free. Right. So it seemed weird to like have all these games and no way of actually playing them.
Fair enough.
So it was like, do I sell these, or do I take advantage of my work bonus, or what? And I decided to just buy it. So that said, I haven't had time to actually play anything. I've got it hooked up, and I've downloaded all the updates and all the games and stuff, so that when I do get some time, I'll play it. Right.
Which, I mean, doing that is a chunk of time in itself.
It was a ridiculous amount of time, and there's a couple of things about the Xbox One that I'm not impressed about, which I don't know if we want to get into that right now, or if you want to talk about any loot that you've gotten.
Well, you'd be kind of talking into the void, because I haven't barely played Xbox One, so I can certainly elaborate on my finds.
Yeah.
A little bit. There's a store in Japan called Book Off. There's another affiliated, I don't know, piece of that called Hard Off. People like to make the joke, of course, because it sounds like hard on, haha, whatever. But these stores are everywhere. Can you
explain that? Can you explain that joke a little? I didn't quite get it.
Well,
okay, that's fine.
That'll be another episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, these places are fantastic for buying used games. They're basically, just the quick overview. It's weird. It's almost like a Value Village. If Value Village was like 1,000 times better, like things are in very good shape.
Another Canadian reference.
Value Village is in Murica too.
Oh, really?
Goodwill. Maybe there's more name value there. I don't know. But anyway, it's like they're much cleaner, and the stuff's in much better condition, and there's more good things. It's not just like the 100 copies of Mario 1 and some XXXL pants kind of situation. Like, there's actually good stuff there.
Yeah.
And so the other thing that's interesting, or from my experience, interesting, is games seem to be valued differently in Japan. For example, a lot of the games that I want to play anyway, say, just take a random example, Chrono Trigger or something. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I mean, you're going to pay a lot for a Chrono Trigger cartridge. I mean, it's just an expensive, valued cartridge, right? High demand. It didn't sell tremendously when it came out. And then, for whatever reason, in Japan, I think a lot of those games, of course, did sell well, so there's just more of them around. Chrono Trigger being another example. There's, I don't know, however many millions of sales in Japan. Well, yes, what?
Just to interject quickly, I just looked it up, and on eBay right now you can buy Chrono Trigger complete with box and manual for $315.
I promise you that same purchase in Japan, maybe not in perfect condition, but that same purchase in Japan would probably be $10. And so anyway, I don't know. It's like a lot of these games that I want to play they're easier to find. They're very cheap. They're in good shape, right? I'm pretty sure I have a complete Chrono Trigger. I might even have a few. But anyway, that's, I guess, the value for me going game hunting in Japan is like all these games I want to play are super cheap, super easy to find, and it's a blast just going out for the day and picking up 300 games, or not 300, 30 games that would have been 10, 20 times as expensive in the States, and just coming back with this haul. The problem, of course, is the weight of these things and getting them back home.
Yeah, and the physical space.
Yeah, maybe my memory is failing me, but in previous years, it felt like I had a lot more room there. I don't know if airplane companies are getting stricter with their weight restrictions or something. But anyway, I did pick up a lot of Famicom games, a lot of Super Famicom games. I'm really, at this point, kind of just filling out my list. So I have my giant list of games I want to get.
Right.
I wish I'd better prepared. They're all packed away right now. I did find a few particularly nice finds. Double Dragon 1 was nice. Ikari 3.
Are these for Famicom or?
These are Famicom games, yeah. A lot more Super Famicom games as well. I picked up some Sega 32X games, which were basically free. And I lucked out again too because my father-in-law, someone he works with, just had a bunch of games he wanted to get rid of, and as has happened before, he basically just said, okay, I'll just take them to my daughter's husband. He loves these things, so I got a bunch of free games there. And that was I'm looking at the pile right now, just a totally random assortment of stuff, a bunch of GameCube games, basically all the classics, all the Zeldas, all the Marios, Smash Brothers. A hefty lot, but I don't have the list in front of me. But always fun.
Nice.
Yeah. So for me, I guess it stands out. I basically buy all these older games, all in physical medium. You're, I guess, entirely digital these days.
I try to be.
Which I understand fully.
Yeah. I try to be, the majority of stuff that I got is digital. And that was actually one of the things that I found really frustrating is I hadn't done that much research before buying the Xbox about, the cost of games.
Okay.
I had looked into, you can get giant lists of every game that's on every console, and so I was, comparing...
Hold on, cost is in, market value, kind of?
Yeah. If I wanted to buy a game on Steam, or if I wanted to buy it on the Xbox, it's cheaper to get it on Steam.
I guess that makes sense.
9 times out of 10, that's the case.
Yeah. Well, the consoles even now continue to have licensing fees and stuff. I guess Steam has its fees. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting.
So it's frustrating, right? Because it's I just bought the console and it's I guess I'll get Metal Gear Solid for computer because it's way cheaper and. It's kind of disappointing, and so then it's also weird because it's when you do buy the games. So for Xbox and Sony, they now both require you to have a subscription service in order to play any games online.
Okay.
So if you want to play the multiplayer component of Metal Gear Solid, you can play that for free on Steam, or you have to pay a monthly subscription to play it on Xbox.
Oh, is it so? The subscription, that's a monthly, continually paying kind of system for both Sega and.
Yes. Okay. So if you want to use the PSN or if you want to use Xbox Live, you have to pay a subscription. It's just not an option. And so one thing that's weird about that is that so for example, I've got the Gears of War games, and from everything that I can tell, when you buy the game, you get a. I guess my train of thought derailed there, but when you get the game, it's supposed to be for both Xbox One and for Windows 7 or Windows 10, whatever we're up to now. And so I guess that's only the case if you buy the game digitally. If you buy the physical disc, then you have to have the disc in the machine in order to play it, and it doesn't recognize it and put it onto Windows for you for free.
So you're actually losing by buying the physical copy.
That's what it seems like to me.
Is there a price difference?
I mean, brick and mortar stores will occasionally have clearance sales and stuff, or you'll be able to buy it secondhand or something. Which I guess is why they are trying to do that. Is you can't just buy the game secondhand or borrow it from someone, and
right.
So that's weird. But so I don't know. I'm getting a mix of stuff just with what I've already bought. So I've only bought 2 games so far for that. One was the Rare Replay, which has Battletoads, and
I did play that one a good bit actually.
Yeah. So on Xbox or?
Yeah, on Xbox. They have at Microsoft they just have like Xboxes set up here and there. Like we're connected. We're close with the Xbox group.
Right.
Which of course works out in my favor. And there's like a lot of I don't know, company like product fair kind of things they do. I forget if they're open to everyone. I think they are. But anyway, you can kind of go in and see what the other teams are doing. So that for whatever reason that particular Rare what's it called? Flashback?
Rare Replay.
Rare Replay, yeah. That was set up at like the last however many of these things, so I just go right, like I get dragged to them by my coworkers and then I go right there and just play that. Yeah.
So I bought that. That was like $10 on sale for Black Friday.
And did you get a chance to dig into any of it?
I got my achievement for playing the first level of Battletoads.
Turning it on. Nice. So, here, hold on. Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise here. I'm trying to dig into my games a little bit. Yes, I got Bionic Commando. That was another one. All right. Well, I've opened my Famicom games here. I can dig through this list.
Nice.
Unless you wanted to finish your thought.
I'll finish my thought, which was just that I bought that one as a physical copy because that was cheap and on sale. But then there are websites like cdkeys.com where you can buy the digital downloads as well. So I got like 4 Halo games, all for $7.
Nice.
So the one thing that I do really miss about the old consoles, like all those games that you've bought, you're gonna just be able to stick those in your console and play. And
very different experience.
And all of these games, it's gonna be like a 2-hour download.
Yeah. I think part of it, I'm increasingly, I don't know, I like, I guess, social gaming. Like, I more than I used to. Like, a lot of people might be the opposite, especially now that we're getting older and we have families and it's harder to get together with people.
Yeah.
But I used to be the kind of person that wanted it to be 1 a.m. so I could sit at my computer and play Civilization 2 for the next 5 hours or whatever, you know? But now I like when like some people are over and you just turn on the TV and plug in whatever, you know, Bionic Commando, and everyone just rocks out and has fun. Like, that's a fun experience to me. So I actually put some value into that, maybe more so than others. But okay, well, I'm not going to list out all these, but I'll hit some of the better finds here. Have you played Metal Max? I picked up Metal Max, which is an awesome game.
I don't think I have.
Okay, it's a very typical classic whatever RPG, JRPG or whatever, but it's an early game where
I definitely haven't played it.
Yeah, you basically build a mech and you're this guy in your mech. Like, I forget the story and stuff. I played through about half of it on an emulator or something at one point. But it's kind of a hard-to-find game, so I picked that up. That's nice. Just going to dig through and look for some... there was... trying to remember the English name of this. Guardian Legend. Yes, I picked up Guardian Legend.
Oh.
Which is, a fantastic game. I didn't have the Japanese version. I've never knew how to say this.
Oh, that's a completely different game than I thought. There's one on PlayStation called Legend of the Guardian, I think.
Legend of the Guardian, perhaps. I'm not sure. Sherazade, or whatever, the Magic of Sherazade. Don't know if you've heard of that.
Never
one.
heard of
Venus
that one.
Wars. Still looking. Devil's World, Bionic Commando, Die Hard. Quite a hard to find one if you're looking for the English version. Yeah. I think if you're looking for a physical cartridge, it's going to be about $90 if I'm right. Ikari 3, Volgar 2. You might not have heard of any of these. I'm not sure. I'm quite.
Yeah, there's actually a good number of them I haven't heard of.
Yeah, which is cool. I mean,
I've played all the way through Bionic Commando.
Oh, Rocket, Air Fortress, Pool of Radiance, which is an Advanced Dungeons and Dragons game. Mighty Final Fight, a lot of fun. Salamander. Did they change the name for the English version? Does that Salamander? Do you know what that is? It's basically like Gradius Gaiden, I guess. Fun game. Really cool cartridge, I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't recognize that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically a Gradius spin-off. Yeah, those are my big finds. I picked up maybe 40 Famicom games. I don't know. I mean, the good thing about these things is they're so tiny, right?
Yeah.
Like, one of them is about the size of a cassette tape. Yeah. Like a audio cassette.
Yeah.
So even 50 of them are not such a bulky mess, although they're heavy, I'll say that.
I like that we can easily throw something like an audio cassette as a size of measurement, and there's a good percentage of people alive today that have never held one in their hands.
I doubt any of those people would listen with any interest to like a listing of Famicom games. But yeah, still some stuff packed away. One thing I will say, I've noticed this year particularly, it feels like what's happened in the West is now increasingly happening there, where like games are just, well, not game-wise, game hunt-wise. Yeah, I found, like, you know, when I was a kid, it was easy to find games, and now it's hard, of course.
Yeah.
But even in Japan as well, like a lot of my previous experience was that it was just so easy to find stuff. Like I remember finding this was probably about, I guess 10 years ago now, actually, but probably about 10 years ago, I found the new style Famicom for 2,000 yen, like $20.
Right.
Now they're all like $90. I mean, I know that's how it works, but it's impressive just how fast that's happened. This particular trip, like, I'm like so happy I found like Ikari 3 and Salamander. Like, these games are not that super rare or anything. It's just, I don't know, they're actually harder to find there as well, which is, you know, unfortunate, but I still did pretty well, so I can't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were mentioning that there seems to be a much larger trend there for people to want stuff new as opposed to retro.
That's not so much my observation as much as it's something that I always hear people say, and I hear Japanese people say that as well. Like, I do find a lot of people are like, old stuff, meh, I don't care. But that might just be kind of a lack of experience on my part.
Yeah.
I imagine if you moved to America for the first time in your life and you were just talking to a bunch of people, it might strike you that no one wanted to play old Nintendo games, right? You just have to hunt out that community.
Yeah.
But just the prices and I guess the prevalence of things, like when you go to one of these stores, Hard Off or something like that, do seem to indicate that. I will say that.
Did you have any luck finding a Famicom Mini?
Not at all. Totally zero. I think I'm trying to remember what happened. I remember hearing that it was available somewhere, and then I don't know if I was busy that day or what, but I certainly didn't make a strong effort to go get it either.
Right.
But my understanding is that it's as hard to get there as the NES Mini is here. So
yeah.
I think it's a waiting game.
Well, I was gonna say, like, when it comes to like new versus old and stuff, like there's been this big thing in the past couple years now where like Urban Outfitters, for example, is a big quote unquote hipster place to go shopping, and you can buy like Sega Genesis clones and Atari clones and stuff.
Definitely,
and man. So one thing that's funny is with the NES Classic, there was like a big scandal, I guess, there this past week, because Urban Outfitters had teased on I don't remember if it was on their website, but they were teasing on Instagram that they were going to have a bunch in stock. And so like all of the fans of the company and stuff were like eagerly refreshing Instagram, waiting for them to announce the details.
And
they announced it. They announced it on Twitter instead. So then people just like scalpers and stuff just went on from Twitter and bought like 25 copies each so that they can sell them.
Oh man.
So now
Urban Outfitters was selling NES minis?
Yep.
That's interesting. That's wild, actually.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, well, so I guess you still haven't picked one up.
No, I haven't picked one up. I found a site. What is it? Nin Games. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think you'd mentioned
Yeah. So, you go to Nin Game and you can order it for like $105 or something, and
is it available? That's the Famicom Mini we're talking now, right?
Yep.
Famicom, not NES. Yeah, okay.
Family Computer Mini. Or Mini Family Computer, sorry.
Nice.
I'm just dragging out my breath here. Yeah, so $105 available right now. You can pay for that, and I think it's like another $13 shipping or something.
So that's not terrible anyway.
It's not a terrible price considering, it's a company that's making money on exporting stuff.
Mm.
So, I figure I'll just wait till after I move, and maybe the price won't be quite as bad once it's stocked regularly, or and I was also eagerly awaiting the one that you were going to buy me.
Well, had I seen one, I promise you that I would have made a strong effort to get two.
Yeah.
But
no,
I did.
It's easily enough available right now, and I don't have time right now, so it'll be even easier to get later. So.
Right. Well, I guess you could entertain yourself with those 100 games you bought this year.
Let me just open up my massive spreadsheet here for a second and throw myself a pity party about how I'll never have the hours to play any of these games. So
funny thing is, if I can interject very quickly, I also have a spreadsheet, and it's not that long. I mean, I could easily like make it 10 times longer with every game I ever wanted to play, but it's supposed to be like my at least play these games before you die.
Yeah.
What I find depressing is not that I have, well, it's the same thing, of course, but ultimately, I never move through the list. It's like the top of the list. It's the same 3 games it's been for like months. You know what I mean?
Right. So my spreadsheet is stuff that I actually currently own, not stuff that I want to own.
Right. Well, no, that was my to play spreadsheet.
Right. Oh, right. So this year I've played through 9 of the games I've acquired. And I've acquired an additional 117 that I haven't even played for a single 5 minute.
So you're up 108 unplayed games.
So there's a website called How Long to Beat, I think.
Yes, yeah, I know it.
Yeah, so How Long to Beat.
And they give you like the completionist hours and just the like plain straight playthrough hours and stuff.
Yeah. So I go for something that's in between completionist and straight playthrough because I like my side quests. And it looks like it's going to take me 2,381 and a half hours to play through all the stuff that I haven't yet played this year.
So that's 1 year of a full-time job, is it not?
How many weeks is that? 50?
It's 50 times 40.
50 times 40? Yeah, that's more than a full year of 40-hour a week.
So if you
plus a 2-week vacation.
Off, yeah. But I mean, just to gauge it, it's doable, right? Imagine you retired at whatever age and your list hadn't grown significantly, which might be a pipe dream, but you could do it, man.
Yeah, and
you went from one game to another, and
Yeah, I'm gonna make a harder effort not to buy stuff next year. So for 2015, I have way less hours to beat the stuff that I've bought, but I spent more money in total.
Is that because you were buying newer games, or you had this idea that you'd actually have the time to play them?
Yeah, I was buying more stuff from retail. Oh, one thing that really drove the price up is that I backed the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Kickstarter.
As did I.
And I actually backed that at a fairly high price because I wanted the art book and stuff. So.
I see.
Yeah. I'm guessing that over the past few weeks you had no time to actually play anything.
Actually, I am very close to the end of Cave Story finally, and I got the bad ending.
Yes. Nice.
So you can. I'd say I don't know how far it is, but at some point in the game you can kind of make a choice to take the bad ending.
Right.
And then you could just like reload your game and keep playing to the good ending, you know what I mean? So I didn't like squander all my effort thus far. I just got the bad end. So which really just means I'm 80% through the game or whatever.
So that's like the difference of killing Richter Belmont or killing Dracula?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. It's the difference of abandoning your mission and getting off the island and saving only yourself versus going and saving the island, right? So
right.
But I don't know, that was like, I guess that was psychologically important. It's like, I felt like I beat something, right? Thanks, game. Thanks for this out.
Yeah.
But that was it was some effort to fit that in, I guess. I mean, I don't know. The vacation wasn't about sitting by myself and playing games, really, right? So,
yeah, I know.
I could have made more time if I wanted to. But yeah, it was nice to get that in.
I typically don't play a game when I'm on vacation like that. Like, you know, you're spending money to go somewhere, and you know, if you're visiting family, you're visiting.
That's just it.
One of the wonders of the world or something. you don't want to be sitting there wasting time doing something you could do any day.
It depends if you can do it any day, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been up to any gaming at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
Not much. I guess last time I'd already beaten Fire Emblem Birthright, right?
Yeah.
So basically, Andrea and I, my wife, she and I spent like Friday nights and Saturday nights playing Gone Home.
Cool.
Which is a pretty short game, but she does not play games very frequently at all, so little things like having 20 years of experience with a video game controller in your hand, meaning that you can just intuitively rotate cameras and walk around. It's not as intuitive for her, so...
Right.
But
that added to the playtime a little?
Yeah.
Was that, was it her that wanted to play this, or were you kind of like, hey, this is a game we can play together?
A mix of the two.
Cool.
We haven't played very many games together. We played Fez a long time ago, and she's played Monument Valley herself on her phone. And I think like we probably opened up like Sonic or Mario or something and played like half an hour, like every half a year or something.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, we just decided that we wanted to make some time to not just work on our own projects and stuff for change, and so yeah, we decided to go through that. I've got a list of like 20 games or so that I feel would be good for us to work through.
Nice.
She doesn't tend to be as much into like Battlefield or something like that. So
yeah, I think for people who don't play games so often, like those hyper competitive games, or especially challenging or open world kind of stuff, don't really appeal so much.
Yeah,
it's been my experience anyway.
Yeah, I mean we were talking a little while ago about playing like multiplayer stuff online, and you know, for us to go and play Battlefield against people who just play it all day every day, like it's not fun for us, right? So it's totally going to be the same for her, where she plays games like once a year to try to pick something up that's competitive with me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I sat down with my cousin to try and beat Mario 2. The original Lost Levels Mario 2.
Right.
And I don't know, it's different playing with someone that doesn't kind of competitively play these games. For sure. And it's hard to. That's a challenge too, like balancing play times and so forth. Because if you're doing level by level. Yeah. They take forever on their level, or they can never clear it. If you're doing death by death, then it's you who gets all the play time and so on, right? So
yeah, but no, it's I found that's pretty good. If we play something like Fez or Gone Home or something, it's like it's like impossible to die in the game. There's no lose state really. Yeah. So it's very approachable to someone who doesn't play a lot of games, and something like Gone Home. Do you know anything about that game?
I know of it. You'll have to clue me in.
It's quote unquote a walking simulator.
Okay.
So the gist of it is you've come home from a vacation to an empty house, and you're trying to figure out why your family's not there. So you're just walking around the house, and you can pick stuff up and look at it and explore it, and there's a story that happens, but you're reading like bills or notes or little things that give you a sense of like who these people are that live in the house and where have they gone.
Right.
So it's pretty cool because if I always like games more than movies for things like that. Well, I guess I can't say always, but like the big difference is that you watch a movie, it's 2 hours long, you get exactly the narrative that's thrown at you in the way that the director intended.
Yep.
But with a game, you can go through it at your own pace. You might go in rooms in different order. You may miss some of the clues. And I think that something like this is fun to play with a second person, where like we just are reminded about stuff from our own past and can have a conversation about it while we're playing. So
Definitely. Cool. Well, I'll keep that in mind. I mean, I had made a similar list at some point, but a lot of what I had on it was stuff that wasn't available to me at the time. Anyway, I didn't even have like a gaming PC set up or anything.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. So, you liked the game. That's my take.
Yeah, it was nice. I mean, it's not the type of game that you would replay. But
sure.
It's a good one-time through experience. It's kind of short. Looking at my spreadsheet here, I spent $1 to buy it, so it was definitely worth that $1.
Cool. How many hours approximately did it take?
I think we spent about 5.
Okay.
And that's longer than it should take. But like I said, we're kind of going through it at a slower pace than I would play if I was playing it completely by myself.
Some novice slowed you down.
Yeah. Some neophyte.
Yeah. We'll delete that part of the recording.
Yeah, so anything else you wanted of excitement to mention before we go?
Not particularly. I mean, I think I'd mentioned it before on the podcast, but my parents-in-laws had rescued some fairly rare games and game hardware for me previously, and it had been sitting at their house forever, so I was able to pick that up.
Nice.
I got a Neo Geo system and a PC Engine system, which is
nice.
To go and buy are not super cheap and not super easy to find, so that was super cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I just get back, so I haven't even gotten a chance to set any of this up or play it.
Yeah.
So kind of looking forward to that. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Cool. All right. Well, maybe we'll end this here and catch up another time.
Indeed. All right, man.
All right.
Cheers.